Okay, so it's time for another SketchUp video. Very exciting. I like doing these. I had a lady that lives in Hawaii that contacted me on Facebook. She had seen my videos on YouTube about stair building and asked me a question about a loft stair. So I thought, I love these little challenges. I'm just going to draw it up and see what she thinks. So I'm going to just draw a little volume here, randomly width and length. But she said her rise was 86 inches. Let's see, is that correct? Maybe I just made it bigger than I thought. Let's make it a little smaller than that. Sometimes you don't realize how big you're drawing something. So I'll zoom in here, make it 86 inches tall. There we go, that looks more realistic. So she also said that her run was, what was it? 64 inches. So I'm just going to draw a construction line out here to remind myself not to go past. And what I'm going to do is make this big volume of a group. So anything now I draw will not attach itself to that. So the best combination of stair. Now, remember, this loft stair is not going to meet any sort of building code, so because she gave us a rise of 86 inches from the floor to floor, and then a run of 64 inches, so there's no way this can meet code, so we can just play around with the combination, and the best combination I came up with was 9 risers at 9.55 inches, and I like to go to the third decimal when I'm doing this in SketchUp. Of course, when I start measuring in the field, you're usually rounding to the nearest 16th of an inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw myself another little volume here. Let's see, 9.55 inches, and then that's the rise. And my run, I came up with 8. You always have one less tread than you have riser. So I knew when I had 9 risers at 9.55 inches, I was going to have 8 treads. So I simply divide the 8. I divide the 64 inches by 8, which is easy math, which is 8 inches. So now I'm going to zoom in on this. I want to make this. This is something that's easy to do just to get started. And I'm going to assume this is 24 inches wide just for now, just for the sake of drawing. Okay, now I'm going to make that little volume a block also. I mean a group. We say block in AutoCAD. SketchUp, we say group. So now this is really the fun part and the easy part, and this is the way I like to lay out my stairs. Once I get this little volume, I just grab it right here, and I hold the control key down, and I just start copying them. This is a real easy way just to get an idea. Sometimes if I'm just doing a quick model, this will be my stair. I won't go into any detail at all. Because I know if I'm building it in the field, I can worry about details when I get there, when I start building it. Now you'll notice that this ran past, right? Well, guess what? That's because we started out with a riser, which we wouldn't normally do. I'm sorry, we started out with a tread. I'm going to make this a group so I can move it all around easily. Now I'm just going to move that back because your last riser, or your first riser, however you want to look at it. I look at it as the first riser is down here. The last riser is actually the building volume, or the landing. So that's why you have one less tread than risers. So now that we have that, we know that our layout works. I'm just going to move this down. So what I do now is, just to show people how easy this is, I'm going to take my pencil tool and I'm just going to draw a line from there to there, go down there, and then I'm going to to take my offset tool here, and I know my 2x12s are 11 1/4. So I'm offset 11.25. So I'm going to draw that. What I'm doing is, if you're wondering, is I'm drawing the outline of the stringer. See there? Now I actually have the rough sawn or the rough cut 2x12 that I'm going to use. But first I want to take out these little triangles, and so what I'm going to do is just I'm going to trace over these. Oops. Again, you got to make sure your points are snapping. Go back out, come back in. Speed this up in the actual video. Now, as if I was cutting these with a saw, I can just cut them out. I can just take that line out, that triangle. Oops. See, I grabbed the wrong thing. Just hit Control Z and go back to where you were. Now, I can grab that block and just move it out of the way. And voila, I have the outline for my stringer, my 2x12. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is take my push-pull tool and I'm going to bring that over an 1.5 inches. And there's my stringer. Now guess what? This top line, these top points are the actual top of the tread. So remember that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each one of them down 1 inch. So what I want to do is grab the top, and I'm going to hold the control key down, and I'm just grabbing the lines of the top of the tread there, and you'll see what I'm doing in a second. And I know I'm going to use 1 inch thick tread material, so what I can do is account for that. I can just bring this down 1 inch. 1 inch. There we go. Now when I add back my tread, all the risers will be the right height. So now what I'm going to do is just, if I grab that without grabbing everything, make that a group, and I'm going to copy it, take my move tool and hold my control key down, and I can copy this over, I'm going to say 22 inches, because the overall thing is going to be 24, because I know I can get 4-foot treads already cut, 1 inch thick treads. So now I can simply just take my rectangle tool, if it'll stop acting funny, and bring that up 1 inch, and I'll bring it over 1 inch, bring it out 1 inch this way, 1, and I'll make it go to the wall, back here, grab it back here, and apply that line right there. Back over here, pull that out 1 inch, and voila, you have a tread. I like French, voila. I can't speak it, but it's fun to try. So I'm going to make that tread a group now, because all I have to do now is copy it. And let's see where a good snap point would be. A good snap point would be that corner right there, because then I can just do this. And I can, in SketchUp, you can copy something right after you do it. You can say how many number of times you want to do it. So I want to do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I just enter times 7. Oops, I got to do it right after I copy it. So I made the mistake of moving around and zooming around. So let me try again. Like I said, it can't think for you. So I'm going to grab it, that snap point, right there, hold my control key down, snap to that one, and then say times 7. Boom. And I copied them down. If I can get my rotation tool. And see, now I'm done with this block, so I can just say goodbye. Goodbye, good blocks. And I have my stringers laid out, And this is what you should do for every set of stairs you build. Okay, so what I thought I'd do real quick is just try to show you if you're trying to do this yourself and not just trying to tell your contractor. Your contractor is going to know what you want just by showing him this. But if you're trying to do this yourself, it's a little more complicated. So I thought I would just run through it right quick. So I have my trusty sawhorses here, and I actually have a 2x12 here I bought at Home Depot. And this 2x12 is going to be 2 to 4 feet longer than your actual stringer length. Now that's the other handy thing about this. Once you lay it out, you know exactly how long from this long point to long point. I've got 8'2", about 8'3". So you want to buy a 12-foot long 2x12. You don't want to mess around with having the ends of these boards cracked and then having that crack show up in your riser or tread. You want to have a really good long piece with no cracks. So what I've done is I've laid the framing square out how you're going to lay it out on your 2x12. You can see here this framing square doesn't have 16ths, but you can see it's a little past a half. So your rise is 9 9/16, and your tread is 8 inches. So what you're going to do is take that and just lay it just like that on your new 2x12, and you'll start it somewhere from the bottom, maybe a couple of feet or a foot and a half or whatever. Again, I've got this set on 9 9/16 up here and 8 inches there. So what you'll do is then let's see, I gotta edit this just to draw on it. I'll take my pencil and I'll make sure I'm actually on this board. This is easier with a real pencil. And I'll just trace around this like that. Okay. Then I'll take the framing square and I'll move it down. I'm just going to grab a point over here because I know it's a reference point. Oops, I copied it, didn't I? I'll delete one of those. And you see, now I'm going to come down here and I'm just going to go to here, and then I'm going to go back to there. You see? I'll just move that other way kind of to show you. See how I just transferred those marks there onto the board? And then you simply do that all the way down. I'll draw that one, move it again, draw that one, move it again, draw that one, move it again, draw that one. Now, what's funny is after you get them all marked out, you'll have a pattern, and you can simply take your pattern. We'll pretend this one is the one we've already cut, and lay it on top of the other one, like that. And now you can trace it on to the 2x12 with a pencil, and that becomes a lot easier. Remember, when you're cutting them, that not to cut past your tendency when you're using a saw is to make a little pass cut like that, a little cut past the point. And if this is a rough framing, that's fine. But if not, you want to stop the saw right at the corner, and then what you want to do is you want to finish cutting it out with a handsaw, because that'll make it nice and neat looking like it is here. And then I would simply get my 1-inch treads, and I would pre-drill some holes and run some trim screws down in there. Okay, and if you want to plug those holes, you can drill a bigger, like a 1/2-inch hole that's countersunk, about 1/4 of an inch, and you can buy these plugs to plug the holes, and that'll cover up the screws. And then you can paint the whole thing or stain it, and you've got a nice looking stair. and I'll just roll in the picture that she was showing me to show you how close. I'll put this like right here, and then I'll put the picture beside it. You can see how close we got with our design. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like these SketchUp videos on how to build stuff, they're really fun. SketchUp has a free version. If you're wondering how you can do this too, I have SketchUp Pro, which is a subscription-based software, but they have a free version. If you'll just Google SketchUp free or whatever, I think it's called Maker, something like that. But you can get it, and you can do small projects like this really easy. SketchUp's really easy to learn. The tools are simple. It's very intuitive, and it's pretty cool. So, thanks a lot, guys. Nice.